I hear what other players say to him or what he doesn't want to hear or what he does hear that he might like. And so when I am talking to my coach, I kind of think of like, what would my dad say if I was saying this to him?
Welcome to the Focal Flip Podcast. Every week we take a deep dive into the mystery and stigma behind mental health and explore real-life stories of struggle and triumph. We aim to educate and encourage others as we bring together a diverse group of guests. From the streets to sanctuaries, classrooms to boardrooms, mental health does not discriminate, and neither do we. Prepare to laugh, prepare to cry, prepare to be changed. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Focal Flip Podcast. It's Mike, your host. Today, a familiar face for me, for sure. And this guy right here, this is his daughter. I got Shannon Minor, and I have Milyn Minor here. So how are you all today?
We're doing great. I mean,
Great.
You pronounced her name right, so you're already one for one.
Dude, here's why I have to pronounce your name right. Hold up. Guys, we'll start with story time right from the rip, because if you're looking from this camera right here, you're going to see in the background that I got an old school NKU shirt. So I'm going to mute my mic for a second. I'll grab this NKU shirt and show you guys what's up with that. All right, everybody, take a look at this. This is a Ken Shields basketball camp shirt from Northern Kentucky University.
Oh
A
my
long
gosh.
time ago.
DJ Bossy.
Yeah, DJ Bossy.
No way.
He was working camp. He played at Kent State.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friends with mine.
Dude, wait till you see all these things on here, man. This is crazy.
And then it's clean. There's even no stains on it or anything. This is good.
Stains, but look at this name right up here on top, everybody.
Wow.
Shannon Minor.
Don't forget the K in the middle. I guess I was.
Here I am. Yep. K's right there in the middle. Here I am at camp just spraying threes and whatnot. Coach Minor was a player then. And took me here. You hang on to that.
I am going to hang on to it for a minute because I can't believe.
Coach Minor's always been. You'll find out here in the podcast. Coach Minor's a very personable guy.
Paul White.
No way.
Genuine person. I know.
See, you got everybody on here.
That's yours to keep.
You're going to let me have this?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, bro.
Joe, oh my gosh, Joe Gerbis? Oh my God, this is a great shirt. Wait till I show these guys this shirt.
How cool is that?
You got BMW on it. You don't know who BMW is. Can I just give you a real quick story about BMW?
Who's BMW?
So when I left North College Hill my senior year, my parents, we moved to Coleraine. When I went to Coleraine, we were called BMW. Paul White, Shannon Minor, and DJ Bossy. Bossy the B, Minor the M, Paul White the W. Paul White's been my assistant coach at North College Hill the last 11 years. You have his.
Wild.
There's Bossy right there. He played at Kent State. Paul White, right here.
Yeah, look on
you
that.
see Paul White right here. Played at North Dakota State. Has been my assistant coach at North College Hill for the last 11 years.
I played volleyball with both of his kids.
With
So
Paul
now-
White's kids?
With Paul and with DJ.
So now we got the little BMW playing volleyball together for Tri-State Elite.
Dude,
so,
that's what I'm telling you guys. This is like the real focal flip type thing, man. Life comes at you full circle. You never know when you're impacting somebody in life or what stays with people and what doesn't. I'll show you one right here. That's really cool. If you take a look.
Yes.
That was my idol when I was a kid.
Coach Train?
I love
Coach
going to Simon
Train?
Kenton games.
Yeah. How many chest bumps did you get?
Dude, a lot. So I loved Coach Train. He followed me as a young kid, and then I played for Coach Humphrey and Steiner. And all.
Another legend. Is that Allison McCarthy?
Yeah.
Okay. Allison, a Holmes Bulldog, NKU Norris. Also a
That was
college
Andre's
coach.
number 2, wasn't it? Was Andre?
It was.
Andre McClendon was 24, right?
24. The only guy that when he got fouled, he fouled someone else after he got fouled. That's how Andre would play. One of my favorite NKU players because of the way he played. He was undersized, but was so big and strong that
Dude, dog.
when he got fouled, he made sure you wouldn't foul him again because when he came down, he would foul you.
Dude, he
But would
did
never
come
get caught.
back.
Yeah.
Forgot all about that.
People would just roll off of him. Saw him the other day. Big V, Mike Veith.
Mike Veith, 7-footer.
is on here. So I
Did
mean,
he go to
this
St.
is
Henry?
Yeah, he did. He played in the old gym at St. Henry and then played at NKU. So you're actually going to let me have this.
That's all yours, buddy.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I'll have to.
When I told you I was going to have you, you were like, we were going to re-sign a shirt or something like that. I'm like, no, I got something cool.
I even was going to bring some extra Sharpies, but we'll go down that road later.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
Coach Minor and Milyn brought me an NCH shirt too. So we do, we had a little spoof video and it's kind of cool. It's kind of caught attention. So I appreciate you guys bringing me a shirt. I'll show that up at the end of the episode too. So anyways, let's go ahead and do, golly, it's kind of hard to do an introduction to both of you. I'm glad you sent me this
Yeah.
because, I met Coach Minor when I was a kid playing in camp. I loved NKU basketball, any kind of basketball. I started at Kentucky basketball. I started playing right out here on this small goal at 5 years old. It was either forking cow manure or shooting basketball. And so when I went to these camps, I really leaned in, and I actually took a lot away from who leaned into me as I played in them. For example, Anthony Epps from the University of Kentucky. I'll forever cherish him, and that's from the UK basketball camp. LaRon Moore, a couple different guys from the NKU camps over the years. Ken Shields, Idol. I could tell you the Floyd story, all like nonstop. A lot of his different quotes, So those type of people have inspired me. Basketball has inspired me tremendously. So I've been following you as a coach and as a leader, kind of behind the scenes. And we've developed some mutual friends together as well. And, when we connected on doing this, I was like, this would be amazing. Coach Minor, how long have you coached at North College Hill?
11 years.
11 years.
11 great years.
11 good years.
You learn. They're all good because you got to, as a coach, you got to learn.
Yeah.
And from your previous people, you win and you lose, but you actually win more when you lose because you learn more from when you lose. If you always won in life, how are you going to grow and get better?
Exactly.
How are you going to teach people how to handle adversity if you're always winning? Yeah.
Exactly.
So
how can you build character without going through it?
You can. And character, in the middle of the word character is the three letters, ACT. And not the test. I'm talking about how you act.
Action.
It's
what do you think of that, Milyn?
Not the ACT.
Yeah, that's why I said that, because we don't want to go there right now, because we're trying to move forward, right? We're always trying to move forward in everything we do. And she's smart. Now, I'm just saying ACT because when everybody hears that as a junior, they flip out. Oh, just used another word, flip. So we're going to use all kinds of things today. We're going to get into it.
Coach Minor is going to be flipping everything on this. It's going to be legit.
This is good. I keep drinking all this
Milyn,
Diet
you better
Coke. I
harness
will.
him.
I can't. It's hard to.
Sure? What if we do it together?
True.
I need a seatbelt. I'm ready. This is great.
awesome.
We're ready.
Anyways, Coach, you had an amazing career at NKU. What from there? Tell me your story. Give me a little bit of your history, your background, kind of your upbringing. And Milyn, we'll get to you here in just a little bit, okay? Tell me a little bit about your background, your history.
Well, I think, growing up, I grew up in North College Hill, and I grew up on the main street. So I wasn't in the country. I'm in the city. And so I grew up there, and I played. So my driveway, my mom and dad, I think like Nick Dorning said it best, like I had everything that I could want. But my mom stayed at home and my dad worked. My dad worked 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
And he was in the Army. He's the oldest of 8. Wow. And so he had a strong work ethic. And so without telling you, you just kind of learn from watching. A lot of times you can just learn from watching people. You can lead. I tell players all the time, just lead by example. You don't have to be verbal. Just lead and people will follow you. And so my dad was a great leader. My mom stayed home, like I said, and then my sister. So we would just kind of learn from them. Now, my basketball court in my yard was blacktop, and it was really narrow. And when you shot threes, my dad put the three-point line down. He had the basketball, all the utensil stuff. Back then, this was like 1983 maybe. So when you would shoot a three, I was even with the rim because it was on a hill in our driveway. And I grew up next to an elementary school, and every time I would miss, which wasn't often, just kidding, it would go over the fence, and the kids would walk by going to school, and they'd always have to get my ball for me if it went over, or I'd have to run all the way around because it was like an 8-foot fence. No way. But sometimes if the ball was pumped up and it was a newer ball, then it would go over. If it was an old ball like Hoosiers, and then was Jimmy Chipwood, when you shoot, it would just stay on the ground.
Just plants.
Right? And so my dad would always rebound for me. He would always be there rebounding, always found the time to rebound for me. And so growing up, the things I remember from my dad was like he would take a week off of work to go to basketball camp to watch me play basketball. So like my dad would always be the one person that was at camp. Most people would drop their kids off and then leave. My dad would take a week off, stay at camp. Pete Gillum was a big one at Xavier. He would always talk to Pete, who is now, still doing games for ESPN or CBS Sports.
Yeah.
My dad would take me to Indiana's camp, UC's camp. I went to all the camps. I went to the high school camps, but my dad would take off, and I never really understood it until I started to get older. That kind of is what inspired, and we'll talk about it later, the basketball camp with dads and kids, because my dad was so important to that stuff. Now, my mom was important as well because she was the driver of the car to get to all these places.
Okay, I was going to say driver of the family, driver of the car.
No, it was good for him.
Car, so she was logistics.
And then, so my dad would always be there. He was always my coach, and my work ethic came from that. Like my dad missing maybe 3 days of work in 35 years where he worked in a factory. He was a painter and a fire equipment inspector, and he was in charge of the alarms and everything that went off within the plant. And so I think I got that work ethic from him. But he never sat me down and said, son, you have to work hard. I just kind of learned that from, again, watching him. And so that's why he rebounded for me. The funny stories and things that people like to hear is like there's a church down the street in North College Hill. It's actually still there. It was a carpeted floor. And it was always hard to get in gyms back then, a lot harder. So I would get into this one gym where I became friends with the most important people in any facility is the custodians.
Yeah.
And then
staff.
Lunch ladies are second because they feed you. Okay, but I made friends with the custodian. I found out that he liked coffee at night when he was working. So we would go down to the Circle K before, get a coffee, take it to him, and he would let my dad and I shoot every night.
So cool.
Because we brought him coffee. So then when I was younger, I understood if I did things for people, I could get what I needed. Yeah. And it kind of works that way in life, right?
And so I kind of kind of thing. Yeah.
And I kind of learned that. And my dad would come over and rebound for me at NKU. And at the time, I kind of understood it more when I was maybe in college. Yeah. But when you're younger, it's like, man, I'm tired. I worked all day or, was in school all day and then had practice all day. Yeah. But then I kind of got to that point. And then, all the people in my life have kind of helped me out to make me want to be a teacher and a coach. A coach is a teacher and a teacher is a coach. I mean, they just go together, and there's nothing else I'd want to do. They do. I mean, you're always teaching, you're always coaching. Yeah. I mean, on the way here, I would tell her hey, when you're driving, you got to watch the people coming this way. If they start to come over the double yellow, you got to make sure what's your next move. As a point guard, you got to know if this guy comes this way, I'm crossing over, going this way. This guy attacks me, I'm going to dump it off over here. So
that's exactly right.
So you got to drive
It's like a defensive driver.
It's called a point guard driver. So as I'm driving, I'm a point guard all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm always teaching.
It's called a point guard driver.
It's called a point guard driver. Okay?
That's cool.
Yep. So
I love all that. What's cool about what you said is something that I've really leaned on in the last 4 years. That action will kind of prove it. So for me, it's that attraction rather than promotion, and you just end up kind of leaning into those people through action. And that's what's been really cool for me is because some of my stuff, you see those groups and it just attracts you right to it. It's just cool.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about coaching. I think, you make those connections with people and they're lifelong. Yeah. You never thought that 30 years ago you'd be sitting in your, in your basement doing a podcast with a guy that was your basketball coach.
Not at all.
When you were 10 years old.
No.
You know what I mean? I'm guessing 10 years old, I would have been 20.
Yeah,
so,
I would say right at 10.
Yeah. So, it's just crazy how things happen, but that's how you make connections and that's how you get where you are in life. It's about making those connections with people and those friendships. And I always tell people, how you treat people is how you're going to get treated back. So if I treat you bad, you're going to treat me bad. You treat me bad, I'm going to treat you bad. You treat me great, I'm going to treat you great. And so if you kind of follow that kind of stuff and that philosophy, I think it helps you mentally to get through some things.
Yeah, for sure, man. I agree with you. Milyn.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
See?
Said it perfectly.
Yeah, so that's just cool. So Pete, your dad.
Yeah. He, you can ask a question about him. I can answer, but all I can just tell you is he was just always there.
It's admirable to take off for a week and go with your kid to coach game.
So I can tell you this about my dad too.
That's incredible.
So what hurt me all the time is when my kids were growing up, like I always wanted to be at everything. Well, when you have 3 kids, it's like, man, I can't divide myself into a third, So like, how am I going to do this? So like my dad never missed a game of mine, high school or college, home or away. Now my mom.
Now hold on real quick. Coach went to Colerain.
Right. Well, I went to North College Hill, and then I went to Colerain my senior year.
Your final year.
Yes, because we had moved from North College Hill to Colerain. Physically moved from one house to another house. Not like, hey, open enrollment and all that kind of stuff.
I get it.
This was back in the day where you had to move. We moved. So like my dad never missed a home or away game, high school or college, nowhere. So he would drive to like Rensselaer, Indiana on like a Thursday, drive back, go to work on Friday, drive up to Romeoville, Illinois for Lewis, and then come back. Wow. And then my sister was younger than me, so she had to, take care of her and get her places. And so, but my dad never missed anything. And so I think that's where it comes. I know like her volleyball games and my son Marshall's soccer games, those are a little bit easier to get to because they're in the fall. And basketball season is starting to ramp up then with some stuff. But you got kids that play football, so they can't make it to all the basketball stuff. But like with Mitchell, I think I might have missed either 2 or 3 of his games in high school. But that's just because that was around COVID. And so, but actually that part was bad for our society. But yet I could like maneuver some things around because I could call a coach on a Sunday and say, hey, do you want to play on Thursday? Because I knew Scott had a game on Wednesday. Scott High School had a game on Wednesday or Friday or on Saturday. Yeah. And so I was able to kind of do that. And I watched some games online, maybe in my office, because they played at 6, we played at 7:30 a couple of times because there was weird times during that time. And so that really bothered me and not making every one of his games. But like we said earlier, it was so important for me. And that's kind of why I started the camp. My kids were around and they knew the importance of my dad, not because I told them, but just because they heard all the stories. And so normally kids would get dropped off at camp. You know this. You went to NKU's camp. You didn't. Slightly, a couple parents, they stick around. Yeah. Right. But we didn't want, we wanted people to stay. We wanted people to put their bag, their briefcase, their cell phone down. We wanted them to participate in the drills.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's what we did. We had dads participating in the drills, doing jump rope, playing in the games.
That's amazing. Good. When did this start? Because I want to talk about that, and then Milyn, I want your perspective of this camp.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So like it started, like it ended with COVID.
COVID was right.
Yeah. Okay. So after my dad was killed, I like had to come up something in order to him. Other than the fact that what I told you earlier about going to Frisch's, every year on his birthday, I go to Frisch's.
Diet Coke, extra tartar sauce.
I get my French fries extra crispy though. That's the only change I do make.
His was a little soggier.
It could have been back in the day, but I like mine extra crispy, man. I want them extra crispy. So like I had to find a way to honor my dad, and so what better way than like do a basketball camp when the kids get there, their dad stays there with them.
Dude, that's really cool.
So I reached out to Doug Pelfrey, because I was teaching at Summit View Elementary at the time. And I'm thinking, who has an impact on youth in Northern Kentucky? And it was Doug Pelfrey at the time. Mm-hmm. And I had some other friends, Rocky Ty, if you know Rocky Ty.
Rocky Kicks for Kids.
Yeah, it was Kicks for Kids at the time. Yeah. So I reached out to Doug and he's like, hey, look, let's put this idea together. And so we did it at the Friars Camp. We did it the first year. It was at NKU. We've done it at Dixie Heights. We did it at North College Hill. So I tried to spread it around to get different people to come. I had Byron Larkin from Xavier come and speak. Wow. John Brandon would come speak. Dave Beasley would come speak. Yep. Terry Nelson from UC would come speak. Chris Mack, good friends with Chris. Grew up with Chris. He grew up in North College Hill, went to St. X High School. He would come and speak. And so I had all these resources. Again, we have talked about this. You have to tap into your resources. Mm-hmm. And so if you have resources, you have to use them in order to be successful. So I got all of them. We had a lot of people give to, we had Frisch's give, of course. I had to have Frisch's give stuff. And so it was just really cool. We actually did it one year at Griffin Elite as well. So we did it for 7 years. And then when these guys got older and COVID hit, it was just so much harder to get it started back up again with these guys being involved. Yeah. And my mom said it was fine and she wasn't upset about it, but it was good at the time. And so it gives me a good story to tell.
Would you ever consider doing it again?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to.
Let's go.
I want to do it.
I mean, it looks like we have somebody, we got a big sponsor.
Yeah, we should.
We'll call it, flip. We'll just flip it up.
The focal flip guy, y'all. Here it is. That's who I'm going to be now. That's it. Awesome.
It's really a good thing, though. I mean, like the dads, it was so funny because each year
I'm
we
going to
had.
throw clips and stuff up on the end of our episode once we do editing. Show some of that stuff because it's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, I have tons of it. Like you see my phone, I have 3,000 videos on it. And a lot of it is.
There's 21,000 something.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but just videos. So like, we started as the dads started getting so sore each year. The cooler that we had there got bigger because we had to start putting bags of ice in the coolers. And then after my second or third year,
dads, bro.
I had to get a trainer from St. Elizabeth to come because guys were like getting sore and tough. And then
I never really thought about that.
I'm just telling you. I'm just saying, like you and the masseuse, we might need to add some things. So it's a really fun thing. The dads, we did it for like 4 hours one year, and then we changed it to 3. I got Skyline Chili to donate everything. The Zhang family, which is big here in Northern Kentucky, they went to St. X High School. I reached out to them and said, "Hey, can you do this?" And he knew the connection that I had with my dad because it was well documented in high school and college. So he was able to like donate the Skyline. And so what better thing in Cincinnati than basketball and in Northern Kentucky and Cincinnati and then Skyline Chili and basketball. And we ate the Skyline after the basketball so that we could just move people out the door after they ate it, right? Right? Yeah. We don't need that floating around.
Your season vet.
Floating around on the flip. We don't need it.
So Milyn, number one, Milyn is Coach Shannon Minor's daughter. Milyn, introduce yourself. Tell me what all you do. I know you play volleyball. This is my first time getting to meet you.
Right.
As soon as she hopped out of the car and they pulled in, real bubbly, very personable. I'm excited to have you and excited to have you kind of participate, conversing back and forth. So tell me a little bit about yourself and tell me about this volleyball stuff because that's another thing that we'll talk about.
So my name's Milyn. Obviously, my name's from Hoosiers. Have to. I started playing volleyball in the 7th grade. I grew up playing every single sport that you could think of. Quit basketball real fast because bad coach, but I'm joking. Joking.
There is a little side note to the coach to basketball.
Yeah.
She was good at scoring.
Stop.
She was real good scorer. We'll just leave it at that. She can tell the story if she wants. I'll
No,
let her
I'm
go.
good. There's no story there.
All right, moving on.
We'll do it later.
We won't ask any defensive questions.
I was a competitive dancer for 11 years. Quit that and because I wanted to start doing volleyball more. I never really thought about volleyball until around the 6th grade, and then COVID happened, so I wasn't really too big into it. But my mom played in college, so that kind of sparked my interest in it.
Yeah.
Because growing up, I always thought I was going to play soccer. That's what I wanted to play, especially in high school, but they're the same season, so I couldn't. And since volleyball is not a contact sport at Scott, you can play your 7th and 8th grade year. So that gave me a great opportunity just to get involved with everyone. And those seniors that year were great. They had great leadership. And I think that's the reason why I have such good leadership because I watched that. I grew up with brothers. I had a coach as my dad. So I grew up with all of that. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I have such a great leadership now.
It's just naturally instilled.
It has to be very competitive. Had brothers, obviously. I had to beat them in every single sport.
Yeah.
But outside
How many
of
brothers
sports,
and the ages?
I have 2 older brothers. One is he 20?
Yeah,
He's 20.
Mitchell's 20.
He's a junior at NKU on the basketball team, and then Marshall, he's 19. Yeah, he's 19, and he's a freshman at NKU, and he plays on the soccer team.
Now, her brothers are so important to her that she even knows their ages.
They wouldn't know mine, so it's fine.
She's too busy down here in the trenches, man.
She's busy.
She's in the trenches down here in high school level just doing her thing.
She's busy with it, but she probably is a better athlete than them. I mean, it's just how it is.
I can't wait to come watch you, really. It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
That's cool that you said that, and not to interrupt you, but that's exciting because he's a great leader, great coach, very invested. And then what I hear about Pete, it just stuff flows downhill. You stuck with that and instilled that through action. And here she is, even not playing basketball, and basketball being your sport, and just excelling and choosing to do it to 7th grade. Mm-hmm. That's, just to be honest, that's not an easy thing to do for a 7th grade girl.
Right. Yeah.
For real.
Because I quit.
Because it's almost like you're behind everybody already.
And I'm also a lot younger for my age. My birthday's in June, so a lot of the girls were a lot older. Yeah. So my mom didn't even want to put me in club because I was a lot older than a lot of the girls. Yeah. And when I first tried out, I made the 3s team, and then I finally made the 1s, and then I switched clubs, went up.
Yeah.
And then finally just like, I was like, okay, wait, I actually like this sport.
That's really cool. My daughter was also a June baby too, so she's that same way. But yeah, I don't know, that's just fascinating. I think it's really cool. So what was it like? What's the most important lesson that you've learned from your dad as a coach? Just as yeah.
Oh, she's thinking there's so many. That's pretty cool. That's good. If you ask my wife, she'd probably not be able to find one,
I
right?
would probably say like the way I talk to my coaches, because I hear what other players say to him or what he doesn't want to hear or what he does hear that he might like. And so when I am talking to my coach, I kind of think of like, what would my dad say if I was saying this to him? So I think that's really important, is like how, and it comes back to, if I'm talking to my coach in a mean way, there's going to be a bad thing that comes out of it. And kind of the same thing is like how he was talking about the connection with people. If you're going to be good to that person, then they're going to be good back to you. Mm-hmm. So the relationship that I have with my coaches is so important to me. Like Sullivan, like she is one of my biggest inspirations, because I have gone to the Scott volleyball camp since I was in 3rd grade. I grew up playing for Scott volleyball, and then now that I play for her now, it's like I bounce her off ideas. Like I text her Happy Mother's Day. We are always texting. So I think it's so important to know like how I speak to my coach is how it's going to come out. It's how other people are going to look at me. And if I talk to my coach in a positive manner, that only means that my teammates will as well. So I think
for you, wow.
And you got to remember this too. Like I think it's so important.
Job,
you knew how many conversations that she's heard me on.
Oh gosh, yeah, too many.
And then I'll put them on. Yeah. I'll put them on speaker a lot, because that's how she learns.
Oh, that's really cool too.
I mean, but it's like a free. Like we're driving, and like we get home, like mom was talking to whoever again, this coach, that coach. But like,
do you like lean in on the actual conversation, or do you just
it depends
block
on
it
the coach, because sometimes I'll put my AirPods in and then I'll be like, what is he talking about? Because then also sometimes I don't know who they're talking about, but then also like he'll be talking to like a coach, and like I might not know him, but then like when I meet him in person, that's another connection that I make with them.
And it's all about making connections with people. That's all it is. Like
it's everything.
Now I'm not gonna name drop, but I'll call some college coaches, and they're coaches that are high up, and I'm friends with them, close friends, or I've become friends with them because of maybe through recruiting some AU players that I had or whatnot. Yeah. And I'll tell her like, hey, look, I'm calling this coach. He's like, let me listen. Okay. And there's times where I'll call people, I'll call my players, and I'll be like, but like I'm talking to my players, and like I want her to hear all the time. Dude,
it's the best experience you can get.
It is, yeah.
And I think the most important one, we're going to talk about this later, I know, is the kids that need it the most, the special needs kids. Like those are the ones that we don't teach them a lot. They teach us. Because guess what? They fight through adversity so much more than their outlook on life is so much better.
Way better.
Because they don't care.
No.
They're just
and
who
they love.
They love. And then, we've taken, and I know you'll probably talk about this more, probably jumping ahead, and I'm flipping and flopping everywhere, but Reggie.
We're in the middle of
the guy that I sent you the videos on, the one that inspired the whole community, like, he goes on vacation with us to Gatlinburg. I'm scared to ride the sky thing.
The sky lift?
He goes with my wife and my daughter on there. I don't. He doesn't care. He's laying on the glass looking down. You know, they have the glass up there and you're looking over to the I'm scared to do that. Reggie doesn't care. Does he?
Nope.
He'll wear 3 pairs of shorts, 8 T-shirts.
I love it.
And I'm like, Reggie, it's hot out. You got to do it. And my wife and Milyn would always say, just leave him go, because that's who he is, and that's the good thing about people.
Yes.
Just accept that they're not like you. They're not different. They're just not like you.
Back. They're genuinely authentic. They're not. Yeah. Nobody's the same. Yeah, but that's a genuine expression of who they are. Too, regardless of the disability, that's what I love.
And we
all can learn from that. That's a perfect.
I also think because like at Scott, we have special needs kids, and I work with them every single day. We go to gym class together, and then I go to art class. I eat lunch with them. I love them. They're like my best friends. Yeah. And so there's 8 of them that are nonverbal. There's 3 that are in wheelchairs, and we have to modify the sports that we do. But then it also makes me so like grateful for just my body in general, because I get to play this sport and they don't get to. And like they get to come to my games and watch me play, and like it's just such a cool moment that they look up to me, and I look up to them because they are truly just like great people.
That's cool. Golly,
They go to the pool too.
three of us vibe really well with that because
We swim every
the
Thursday.
same way.
Yeah, every Thursday they swim.
At our pool.
She'll FaceTime me at lunch.
All up there at school.
Yeah, we have a really nice pool at Scott.
Oh, I know you do. I know it's pretty sweet.
It's really nice.
Yeah, believe me, the people from Simon Kenton they
They
probably,
come to it, don't worry.
Yeah, they go. They go. But here's the thing, like,
God, I love that.
to be able to
I have a very big heart.
yeah, I mean, but you have to, like, we've always been taught, like, to give back. It doesn't always have to be financially.
No.
You know, it could just be being nice to people.
Love it on them.
I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, we take Reggie with us on. I mean, he's so much fun. He was my assistant coach in AAU.
He comes to my volleyball games.
Comes to her volleyball games. I go pick him up. We go down to Louisville and Lexington. He spends the night with us. I mean, but the thing is, like I said, I think in Reggie is inspiring because he takes 2 buses. He knows where to take buses. He takes to go to Xavier. He works in the cafeteria. I just got him a job at the local pizza place right by school. So now he has 2 jobs. Here, I'll give you a real quick funny story. So Reggie's coming to NKU basketball game, okay? He's got to take a bus from Cincinnati to get to the NKU game. It's our 30-year reunion from the team in 1995 when we lost to Bruce Pearl in Southern Indiana. So I'm in the box at NKU. All of our players are there. The game's getting ready to start. Reggie calls me. Now Reggie's autistic, okay? So really funny. Like there's no like I can't say anything that's gonna be like off the wall, no sarcasm or anything.
Yeah.
So he calls me, he's like, Coach. I'm like, Reggie, hurry up, where are you? He said, Eastgate. I'm like, dude, Eastgate, you're out in Batavia. Dude, what bus did you take to get to Eastgate? He said, no, Coach, the East Gate. The gate at the arena. Yes. At the arena. So look.
Dude, Coach, we got to get Reggie.
We got to get none of this. So I go out of the box. I go by. As I'm going by the first gate, though, that's the north gate, okay? So I go past the north gate, and I'm going down to the east gate. So Reggie comes in. Now, Reggie loves gummies. Okay, that's like his go-to. Like he'll go get his gummies and his Mountain Dew. He's got a bag. Well, at NKU, they don't let you in there.
Yeah, they won't.
Yeah, but I was trying to tell the guy that I knew, like, so he's outside, it's cold, it's raining. I'm like, Reggie, you got to go this way to the North Gate. Reggie used to work at North Gate in Cincinnati. So now I feel like I'm confusing him. He's like, what? I don't understand. So Reggie is the best. He walks, he comes in, I try to tell a guy, Reggie just waves to the guy and just walks right on in. Like he owns the place. So then we go into the box and there's food there.
I love it so
well, Reggie
much.
ate for us because we didn't need to eat. We just let Reggie go do his thing.
I love it
but that
so
is such
much.
a good thing. Like Reggie taught me, like, dude, kids can't get to those places by taking buses.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to. I know that.
I know, right?
I would not be able to.
Reggie can do it. He knows when the buses are coming, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. He'll walk out of the gym. I'm like, where are you going? It's like the bus will be here in 2 minutes. He's tracking it.
Yeah.
Like moms do a school bus in the morning.
Yeah.
So like those are the things like that you can't make that, like this is genuine stuff. Like
It is, man. I got a quick story on that too because I'm very passionate about that. I love going to a lot of their tournaments and league games and stuff like that. Coolest thing ever, Seth Dieters followed Simon Kenton basketball forever, cerebral palsy, and followed every one of my games. Very different. He's got like a helmet and stuff now because he had an accident and got really, really sick at COVID. But I drove down to the Simon Kenton games and like I like to go to a lot of things by myself. If I'm not going with people, I like to just go enjoy it by myself. Mm-hmm. Well, I went there and saw Seth and I'm like, I look over, I go, hey. He looked at me, Mike, like that. And I was just like, it was the coolest. So I sat with him the whole game, and I love that. They inspire me because they simplify life and teach me how to love when I'm all chaotic about everything else or stressed out about the silly stuff, you know? But when I was down there watching that game, he asked every question about my family, my parents. He brought up my old teammates from back in 2000. And he's been doing this stuff for a long time, you know? But he used to ride home from games with us. So he lives right back here. Mm-hmm. Actually, our properties like connect. So he always would find a way to games too. Like he just found his way to do things. He's a sweet guy. And here's the girls basketball team. He's traveling there. And I go, how'd you get here? He's like, I rode with the Coach family, you know?
Yeah.
He's just loyal. And then we have all these people that are just willing to bring them along. Like, and I love that, you know? So I appreciate you guys having that heart.
I mean,
if everything is a learning experience, no matter what we do.
But why can't that be normal? Like,
Exactly.
why is that not normal? Like in Reggie's eyes, or those kids with challenges, why can't that be normal, and why can't we be the abnormal ones?
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Great perspective.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe Reggie looks at us like, Coach Minor's being weird again.
Yeah.
You know,
why are they getting worked up?
Yeah. Why is he getting mad at his team? Why is he throwing the clipboard again?
Exactly.
I can't believe you
Yeah.
broke another clipboard. Like, it's just how it is, man.
passion, baby.
Yeah, it's just passion. It's just
baby.
me trying to just, you know, get something into my team, some fire. But I think you could just learn so much from people. And again, I don't think I ever like told Milyn like, hey, come here, listen to this. I have, but I think over time, I just would call people, have it on speaker. Now with the, you know, you can hear everything in your car.
Yeah.
And then when she was younger, I would just take it off speaker and just talk. But
That experience is the best thing. The exposure is one of the best teachers ever. You know, so kudos to you for doing that, and for you for leaning in, because that's cool. You can tell you've just been a workhorse for a long time. Always. I just love it.
she's been on an interview her whole life.
Yeah.
Every day is when she's around her mom or Coach Sullivan or myself or anyone, like, you know, I just think she's being prepared for everything. I just told her before we got here, I said, this is a part of the journey.
Yeah,
you want to go into
molded.
broadcasting, and you want to go into speaking and talking. And like you said, having a good personality, that's so important.
Very. Very.
I mean, you know how it is when someone's walking off the court and that girl is waiting for Coach Pearl to come off, and you ask them a question and they're heated at that point, and they look at you like, well, that's a dumb question. They give you an answer and they go by you real quick. Like, those are things she's already going to be kind of prepared for if that's the route she wants to take.
For sure.
Because she's had to deal with her dad and her mom and Coach Sullivan her younger life. So I just think these things just help prepare you for the next step in life, whatever that might be.
Yeah, it really does, and that's the thing. And I understand you're an ambassador. Are you ambassador for Better Blend?
I am, yes.
Tell me about that, because I'm doing a 7-day Better Blender right now on Facebook. You know, Isaac Hamlin, shout out. Karen Smith, shout out for Better
Love
Blend
them.
Independence.
Yes.
That's the one
And
she goes to,
Steve.
yeah, and Steve.
Steve, oh yeah, that's Steve.
Steve.
Steve's my guy.
Steve,
Yeah, just
I
got the
love
phone-
them, yes.
That's why she's an ambassador. She didn't forget about Steve.
Yeah, come on now.
Dude, Steve is.
What's your
they're-
favorite there?
I'm working. Oh, the Power Bowl for
Yes,
sure.
that's my favorite. But what do you get on
double
it?
granola, double peanut butter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, don't say peanut butter.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Okay, I didn't get peanut butter. I'll get double chocolate.
That's why I told you no peanut. Well, I didn't tell you that story.
Well, I'm not a peanut butter fan, but I get that on that. The others. Yesterday I tried Funky Monkey.
Okay, I've never had that one, but
Karen, I liked it. It was really good.
I think you
Pineapple
really can't go
Dole
wrong.
Whip was great.
I do like that one.
Yeah.
That one is really good.
So tell us about the ambassadorship.
I kind of got started with it because one of my friends was interested in it and they started doing it, and I was like, oh, that would be so much fun, because you know and then like once me starting doing it, we started getting it for like when we would travel for volleyball. We would have them bring us stuff. And it was like, again, like another connection that I had with Better Blend. So like when we went down to the state tournament, they got us all bowls and like blends, and we got to have a good nutritious, because you don't get that often. But I reached out to them, and then they give you, I guess I can say this, but they give you $150 every single month to buy their product, and then you post it, and you know, you have to be honest, and like you really can't go wrong with any of them. And like there'll be games where like we would, you know, have some break, and we would all go. Some of my teammates like, oh, what do you get? And you can get those boosters, which would be great because there's like recovery, and it's like, oh, you need that. Like, so it was really great. I loved it. I did it for 3 months in the summer, and then I did it for another 3 months during volleyball season, and then like now I've kind of slowed down with it. I mean, I still go all the time, but sometimes when you like start posting so much, it's like, okay, like we get it. You like load it Better Blend, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I love it. And you know,
That's why mine's gonna be a 7-day Better Blender. I'm not an ambassador, but yeah.
you should
she
start.
can't be the 70-day. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, I wish I could.
you got to
but-
cut it off somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
I
you
could've
know, like I still go all the time. I would make him go try all the things. Like I would make my mom do it. And like all the girls on the volleyball team just loved it. They love going there because it's it's good for you, you know.
It's
and
really good.
it's just really good.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was pretty surprised at how good it was.
I end up taking her, and then I go to UDF. So I'm sorry, but I'm going for the big
Ice cream,
peanut butter. Peanut butter.
You don't have to settle
chocolate
for anything, Coach. Come on, man.
Peanut butter shake.
You've already made it.
I know, peanut butter shake with chocolate milk. That's it. That's my go-to right there. Yeah,
chocolate milk.
Yep.
you can get that at Better Blend, but it's healthier for you.
It's healthier.
So.
Just
Yeah, you can get that at Better Blend.
And I like Better Blend. You think what I have to do, Mike, is I think I have to find the one that I like. That at the end of it, the last taste of it has to have that like unhealthy taste. Just the last. If they can just get that. Then I like, yeah, but I like the peanut butter one.
I think that it was definitely healthy.
I've tried 2 or 3 of them, and it was like, and then I think Milyn, and I was trying to stay away from the peanut butter one because I do like peanut butter and jelly, but like Mitchell and her both have peanut allergies. My middle son Marshall, my child Marshall doesn't, so like that makes me like peanut butter even more because I can't have it. So I would take peanut butter and jelly to school. The jars of it and make because I didn't want to have it home. Yeah,
those things are super sensitive.
Yeah, and so like I like Better Blend, but I just have to find the right one. And the last time I was there, I can't remember which one it was, but I think it had the peanut butter in it.
My favorite is the mixed berry one with all the berries in it. I think
I'll put that on my list. I haven't tried that.
Strawberries, banana, and blueberries. I think it's my favorite.
That's what I get on that Power Bowl.
Mm-hmm, that's what I get, and then I add granola and honey.
Ooh.
Honey's
really
so
good.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Very good
I love honey.
I remember being little, my dad
Can I sub the peanut butter for the honey?
Of course.
It still tastes pretty
or
good.
add both, maybe.
My dad would always give me honey when I had a sore throat when I was little. Like they said that was one of the,
That's an old remedy.
Yeah, like that's
whiskey was one too back in the day. Where
my
they
dad wouldn't give me that.
My
dad wouldn't give me that.
Yeah, way back it was, man. It was
Never.
wild.
Yeah.
All right. So what are we going to go into here next? Number one, Coach, I got to have you. If you guys are okay, I'd love to have you back for more episodes.
Oh yeah,
is that cool?
No,
like during volleyball season and
just me and Sullivan in here together.
Yeah, actually, fine. Coach is coming soon.
I know.
I think we're gonna get through basketball season and then sneak her out here.
That would be so much fun.
I love her to death. I mean, I
love
really
Sullivan.
I really do. So I invite you back just because there's a lot of history stuff that we could really dive in, but. We could have Milyn for all of it or not, but
I mean, there's certain like
I want to.
I mean, we could. Yeah, it's. I mean, you could just use each one of these bullet points for
like a whole
hour. That's why I told you the games start on Thursday at noon. We got the first 4 tomorrow. We might not make those. Xavier plays on Wednesday. We got the 9th region championship on Tuesday. Like. We might be going live.
We have to upgrade these cameras.
Yes.
We have to have a flow of batteries coming in here because we're struggling with camera batteries.
I mean, we are flipping and flopping all over the place.
It's awesome, though.
This is good.
That's the best part about the whole conversation. So let's, this is where I'll segue. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. I have talked to other coaches who know you. You guys have taught me a lot about yourself. You're big into exposure, coaching, culture, inspiration, motivational stuff, digging deep type things. I don't want to kind of explore that a little bit and see where that specifically came from for you.
Oh, man, where did it come from? I think just from learning from, again, like she learned or my kids learned from me and our kids learned from their mom. I think just being around it. So I'll give you some things. Like, thing that always stuck out to me was like Pat Kelsey, Chris Mack, kind of being with those guys. Pat is my age, Kelsey. Chris Mack is a couple years older, both Cincinnati guys. Like, Pat is super, super creative. Like, and Nick at Ryle, Nick Norton, he reminds me a lot of Pat Kelsey. Like, he likes to do all that stuff. I think you have to engage your team. You can't be stale. You have to reinvent things all the time and be creative and come up with some new ways to get to the finish line.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Or it's 30 sprints that make up the marathon, however you want to look at it.
However you want to break it down.
However you want to break it down. Okay, so I got to find ways to be creative. So I remember the story about Pat Kelsey. he was trying to get in with Skip Prosser at Xavier.
I know this one.
Man.
And she's heard the story before.
I know this one.
So in order to get in at Xavier, he's trying to figure out, like, he played at Xavier. He also played at the University of Wyoming first with Joby Wright, who is a Bobby Knight disciple, okay? So you can imagine how Joby... Yeah, okay? So Pat went out to Wyoming, came back. So in order to get in at Xavier as a coach after he played, never forget this story, he put one shoe in a shoebox and sent it to him and said he just wanted to get his foot in the door. How creative is that? And so, like, that was one of the
seed right there, baby.
That was one of the beginning things. And, like, I've been friends with Chris Mack for a long time, and I'm not name dropping because I have been friends with Chris. And Chris kind of took me under his wing as a player growing up and taking me to St. X and getting in the gym. And we didn't even have a key. And we got in the gym. So that was one of my first ways to find out how to get into gyms.
Shout out Coach Mack.
Yes, but doing it the right way, though. Like, we were just playing, like, basketball.
Well, yeah, you're just playing ball.
And then
we did the same stuff, Coach.
Yeah,
we did the same stuff.
We were doing the right stuff. We weren't,
we were getting in the gym and working. That's what we were doing.
We weren't breaking in anywhere and doing anything. And we weren't damaging stuff.
Same here.
We were playing basketball. And I think people knew we were in there.
Big shout out Coach Mack for that.
We're just trying to do. So, like, I learned stuff from Chris and Pat, and more with Chris because I'm closer to Chris. But, like, the way he tries to do things with his program now at Charleston, the way he did at Louisville, Xavier when he was assistant at Wake Forest. So I learned from them. So what I started doing when I started at North College Hill is, how am I going to bridge that gap between me and my players? Okay, from my players and myself. So I started off with going to Pendleton County, the 75-acre farm that my in-laws own. And I'm like, what better thing? Now, I know she's going to be like, Dad, you're not a fisherman, okay? But put it this way.
Far from.
I'm more of a fisherman than the basketball players that I have, okay, that I had at that time, okay? So she'll even laugh, like, you don't even know how to bait a hook. You're right, I can, but I don't like to get my hands dirty. So I'm putting worms and all that, But Milyn is the one that's taking them all off. The fish once they're caught. So the game we play, when we take them out there, we all get out there. Now remember, these are kids from Cincinnati inside 275.
Yeah, going out to Pendleton County.
Going out to Pendleton County.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
that's a different world.
Now here's the one thing that I like more than anything: the Bigfoot down at the pizza place that we got our pizza from. There's none in Cincinnati. Can't remember down there. Nope, not hometown. I can't remember the pizza place.
Oh my gosh, is this
They had the biggest squares.
Falmouth?
They had the biggest squares.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
It's ruining my story.
They have good ice cream?
But no, that's
oh my gosh.
But it's the home of the big slices. I can't remember.
Yeah,
so look,
Keaton Belcher's gonna kill us for not knowing this.
Snappies.
Yeah.
Oh,
They like Snappies. It was Snappies.
Was it Snappy?
I thought
It's gotta be hometown.
that's not hometown.
I think it might be Snappy.
It is. Because they had the big pepperonis.
Yes. Yeah.
And they didn't have them in Cincinnati, or our kids didn't know it. So we go out there, so we park, and then we're walking down this long road. Gravel. And then they have this big barn. So we have all the food in there, okay? We're going out to the pond. So what I do is we go ahead and divide into teams. So here's the game. You fish. Milyn had to go to all the teams. All my kids did because they've been out there. So they bait the hooks. They do all this stuff. I'm just filming everything, obviously, right? I got 3,000 videos on my phone. You think I'm getting my hands dirty?
Hands ain't getting dirty, bro.
My wife's down there getting into it. Like, we're keeping track. So here's
that.
the kicker. It's 1 point if you catch a fish, but you get bonus points if you kiss the fish.
Or if you at least hold it, take it off, all of it.
So we got bonus points.
That's awesome.
So we're doing all this fun stuff, and these kids have never done before. Now, occasionally we'd have some that with their grandparents, their granddad had been out fishing before, so they kind of knew what they were doing. So when I found out, I would separate them and put them, but that was just 1 or 2 kids.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing that we try to do to separate them.
What kind of results do you think you got from that?
I think it showed them what else is out there.
Yeah.
And like see me in a different light. I mean, those guys hear stories like, oh, Coach Minor was a good shooter, a good player. Obviously, I'm not going to go out there and play against them. But if we can stand still and shoot, which they always knew. I mean, I would always say, who's the best shooter in here? And eventually, as the year would go along, they would start pointing at me because I would play them just shooting.
Throughout the year.
Just shooting.
Yeah.
Just shooting.
I did the same thing.
But you know what? Like some of the other things we try to do, like I've had college coaches, Chris Mack would come in like, this is when he wasn't coaching before in between Louisville and College of Charleston. He would come and do a workout with our guys. and just sit down and talk to them sometimes. And then our staff would go out with them to, of course, Skyline and eat. And just those guys ate that stuff up. To have a conversation with a college coach that's been in the ACC, that is down to earth. And I go on fishing trip or boating trips with Chris.
Chris Mack, great guy.
Yeah, I mean, the connection that we've had with him,
he's just steel trapping every single thing.
I mean, he's just, to be honest with you, he's more of a normal guy than the normal guy. Like just doing backflips off the boat when we go, on his own boat, like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I followed his stuff for a while, and he'd post some pictures of family stuff.
So I think like his creativity has kind of spilled over onto me. I think Pat, like I said, Nick does a lot of good things.
Yeah, Pat for sure. I can see that with you being very similar to like Pat Kelsey and Chris Mack. Yeah, and Pat Kelsey, look what he's done with Louisville.
Yeah,
he was out with the students working his tail off.
Yeah, and I think that creativity.
Very.
It's just not with your players. It does something for the community.
Yes. It's
you know what I mean?
Attraction rather than promotion.
And it's contagious. Yeah. It's contagious. You're talking about Cincinnati guys. Us are all connected somehow. And I live in Kentucky now and have both sides of the river, which is really cool. I've taken our guys to NKU games, to Xavier games.
Centos Center, baby.
Dude, I had a player a few years ago. He was at my school. This is probably, 7 years ago. And he was a special player at the time. And he was a freshman. And I said, Chris, just do me a favor. Just talk to him. Just talk to the kid. He's a freshman. He doesn't know. Like, he thinks he's this and that. And like, no, Chris took time out to like talk to this kid. He like did me a favor. But that's that relationship building thing. And if Chris ever needed anything from me, like, again, his resources are almost unlimited. Yeah. But like, he might say, hey, there's a player in this area. Do you guys played against him? What do you think about him? Or whatever. He might ask me a question. I'm like, man, I got this guy asking me, but for me, that's just a normal conversation.
That's your relationship.
Yeah, that's the relationship we have. Yeah. Dave Beazle, John Brandon, like, those are guys I either played for. Yeah. I played with John Brandon. Yeah. John Brandon, Pat Kelsey, me, and Chris Mack were all on the same summer team in Cincinnati in the summer league back when it was a summer league in Purcell Marion High School.
No way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We were all on the same team. So like those are just like the fun, like little things that we did. Like I would do other things like, I think this is important too for coaches to understand, is like playing Jeopardy. So instead of having practice one day, we played Jeopardy. Mm-hmm. So we had categories, obviously. So we had like our locker room, which I redid. We had the history. And then I would do like, NBA stuff. And then maybe something else. And then not only did we do Jeopardy, we also did charades. That was fun.
Charades would be a blast.
It was so much fun. We're in the classroom.
Charades would be so fun.
We're in the classroom, and like we got all these categories, and me and the assistant coaches know, and so we give it to them, and they're all spread out. Dude, they're jumping out of their chairs to get them now. Now remember, when you're doing it though, you can't go out of turn. Like you got like a minute to get it. If you can't get it, then the next team gets a chance, and then the next team, and we rotate. Dude, those things, like, it just shows the kids that it's just not about basketball. Mm-hmm. It's about relationship building, and that's what it's all about. Tapping into your resources and building relationships. Those two R's right there.
Absolutely. That is the key to all of it. I'm so glad you both have driven that home in 4 or 5 different stories, because it's a big thing that I do with the people that I coach, no matter where they're from. I always say, because a lot of times people are just emotional hurricanes, and I always say, this is where I had a brain fart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll have to edit this. Where was I at on that?
It's all right. You're just talking about driving home with the people that you coach, and
yeah, I just had a brain fart on that.
It's all right. All the time.
I think I was.
You're only 40. Wait till you get 50 and you got to pump this phone up a little bit higher than 10.
I think,
I should have told you should have threw it up to 14 for me, man. I think that size.
I was telling them it's that relationship thing. That's where I was going.
Yeah. No, you're right. Relationship and resources.
They're important. And if you get upset and angry with people, I get it. But the fact is, if you take the next step of trying to understand things, it changes the game. And when you do these things for culture stuff and you actually care, compassionate person, empathetic person, sympathetic person, kids, other people, they'll see that. That genuine, authenticity carries you so far. And like, that's been so cool now, is like when I started Focal Flip, and I'm like, I'm going to do the podcast and have this kind of piece. And I've reached out to people and everybody has responded and like said yes. And so for me in my life, I need like validation. You know, I struggled with insecurities. So when I got that, it's like, wow, okay. You know, this is where we push forward and you start to receive that.
But just think about all the things that you're doing. Like
those relationships, it tells me, all right, because I loved and was genuine and I didn't burn bridges and stuff.
You were just yourself.
Yeah. And then it carries you forever. So now when I have these conversations or any conversation, it's so crazy intentional and it never leaves here. You know, it's just all super important because we're not designed to do this thing alone. None of it. You know, all this thing is one big giant game. And we're all on the same team.
But remember this though. I watched your stuff and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like I reached out to you. You know what I mean? Like you sometimes now your program's going to be you don't even have to reach out to people sometimes. Now they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's been very humbling.
If you're doing it the right way, which you are, and you're having a variety of people on here, people are going to start contacting you.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool.
Do you know what I mean? Now it
has happened a lot.
Yeah.
Here,
so that's when you know you're doing something good.
It feels, thank you. I appreciate that.
And you don't even need coffee. This is almost, you want to do things organic. This is more organic than caffeine, coffee, or any alcohol or anything. This is more fun.
It's a blast.
Just the conversation about, you know, your upbringing, how you went to NKU, you know, what she does in volleyball, my dad, like all those things are so intertwined and connected. It's just crazy how everything can come together.
And they all come full circle.
They do.
No matter what.
It does.
Shirt back here, like.
I mean, you have names on there. I didn't even know were at my camp. I didn't even know they were at the camp. I didn't know Paul White and DJ Bossy were there.
Man, it's
BMW was created before.
I've got stories from camps for like ever. But it's just that stuff's important to me. When I first came into coaching, the very first thing I told where I was coaching at was we need to do culture stuff. And what I mean by that, like I was in a fraternity. When basketball was over, I joined student government, student alumni, fraternity. So I like you guys, I learn on everything. And so I used a thing from a fraternity called Pass the Candle. And the very first time I had a basketball team that I was coaching, the very thing we did without a basketball, we actually used a basketball called Pass the Rock. And it's where you pass it around and the person that's got the ball is the only one that could speak. And you talk about, you know, a strength or a vulnerability or a story that nobody knows about you. And you work all the way around it and it just develops this big giant bond. And then you go into like a competitive game or something. But yeah, it's really cool. So I learned it from that. And then seeing the fruit from the culture stuff is the most like rewarding thing ever.
You're talking about my messages.
I'm getting ready to get there.
Yeah, that's good.
But seeing the fruit from that stuff is like amazing. Because what I always say, I tell everybody, you will know them by their fruit. And their fruit are their actions. And you all are big on actions. You know, I also like do some scripture stuff, like because I've come full circle with my faith or whatever. And you know, a good tree doesn't bear bad fruit. A good tree bears good fruit. A bad tree bears bad fruit. So I heard this thing about you do a lot of motivational stuff. It's so cool. Actually, Dorning, shout out Dorning because Dorning told me to sneak this question in there.
Yeah, he's big into this kind of stuff.
He's great at it.
No, it's important though. It's.
Tell me the story about the fruits.
Okay, so and I told you a little bit about it. So I'm at a Holiday Inn one time, and like you know, you go to the Holiday Inn.
Do I know this story?
You probably did. You probably had your AirPods in that day. That's when she had her AirPods in.
Should have nudged my shoulder.
Way to go, Milyn, selective listening.
So shout out to Holiday Inn. So I'm going, you know, we're trying to get some, you know, NIL money, however we can. So if Holiday Inn wants to throw some money, but here it is. So I'm going to Holiday Inn. And as soon as you go in, it's like the floor mat says like, you know, it'll say good morning in the afternoon, good afternoon, and night, good evening, sleep well, whatever. So I'm going to breakfast in the morning and I see a cup, and around the cup, you know, it has a little holder around the coffee mugs or whatever. And it's like, good morning, have a great day, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, and then there was some fruit right there. And I'm like, but nothing on the fruit, you know. And I'm like, they had apples, which you can't do, but they had the oranges and the bananas. And I'm like, man, that's funny because, you know, before games sometimes we'll try to find like healthier snacks to give the guys. I'm like, let me see. How about, you know, play defense or pass the ball or midline, which is a defensive term, like, or have a great game. It's a nice day. be a good teammate. Like, so I started writing those on there. And so the guys would like grab them like, no, I want that one. I want the one that says be a good team. I want the one that says this.
Really?
Yeah. So they started like being, I wouldn't say competitive about it, but like wanting to choose the one.
Meant something. Yeah.
So then I had the the little oranges and they were peeling those off and I put stuff on there. And then, I sent you a couple of pictures. Then I started putting
Yeah, I'm going to put them up, everybody. I'll put them up.
Then I put the ball there and like, so it was just like goofy things because I think not only do they have a message, but also shows them that their coach is creative and down to earth. Like, I'm not like, I came up with it a little bit, but like it was also inspiring for them to think about stuff before a game, but also get a healthy meal or a healthy snack, I should say, not a meal, I should say a snack. But it was just something that I thought of. And like, a lot of this stuff isn't like I'm reinventing the wheel. I'm just putting a shinier, rim on it. Or whatever,
yeah. It's like you learn, you pull from different things that you see.
Yeah, we're all a spoke in the wheel, okay? We are. Yeah. One spoke gets messed up, it couldn't mess up the rest of it. But like for me, I just felt like I had to do something different before a game. And like that was one thing. Like a scouting report is good sometimes, but it just floods their mind with everything. Like you really should do in practice what you want to do and then make small little, no pun intended, minor adjustments during the game, okay? But I wanted our guys to take their mind off of that, and so I thought it would be really cool just to put messages on there and like little corny, but yet it gets the point across. Just like anything that I've learned with Pat putting the shoe and let me get my foot in the door, like those are just things that like that was my beginning stages of coaching. Like I was like, man, I got to do some creative stuff, and I always think about like Chris
I'm
Mack.
going to steal that foot in the door one.
It's a good one.
I used other thing in sales.
I think it was get my foot in the door. Yep. Yeah. And
I used some seating processes when I was in sales that were pretty cool. That one's a really good one.
Yeah, and I just think the guys that I've had that have been coaches. I know you're a big David Henley fan, and like I coached with Henley for 2 years, and man, I learned like
he's a coach, man.
Just detail oriented.
Very.
Like we would walk into homes and the dry erase board was as big as this wall. And like not only did he didn't have like circles and X's, he had the numbers from the opponent, like where number 12 was gonna be, where 24 was gonna be, where 55 was gonna be, like every play. And like it wasn't just one, like this play went to he would have like 4 basketball courts for one play and then another 4 basketball courts.
You track them all individually by player personnel and you see every single play.
Yeah, and I'm just like, he's so detail oriented.
David Henley, huh?
Yeah. But he also coached at Murray State and Duquesne in the college level, so as an assistant coach. And so I think he learned a lot of that from there. And his dad was a coach.
Yeah.
And so I think he learned a lot of that from his dad again. So, when you're a child of a coach, I think you learn stuff from just being around them, just like you would if you were, at the horse track. You're going to learn from guys that are betting races, right? I mean, so you're going to learn, and it just so happened, like I told Milyn, we're just into sports and athletics, and that's just what we do, and you use that for other parts of your life.
Absolutely. So let's flip back over to Milyn real quick. Then we'll get ready to wrap this thing up here shortly. I'm definitely going to have you all come back because I think you're fantastic. I think you guys are awesome.
Thank you.
Milyn, what is your favorite thing about your dad?
I've been waiting for this one.
Oh, was it already on there? She's probably been like mapping
I've been thinking about all the
It shouldn't take long. She's just trying to figure out which one's at the top.
Well, there's a lot.
Just do my favorite thing right now?
Yeah, what's your favorite thing real quick about your dad?
I would say like the care that he has for everyone, not like, cause like he cares so much about me and my brothers and my mom, but like he's been at NCH for 11 years and like he has been like, since he learned from his father who has now passed away, like some of them, they haven't had a father figure or even just a mother. So like he has been such a figure for a lot of people at NCH and just more than that. And coming off that is he's done like Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas dinners. He's gotten gifts for their managers. Like he does so much and he cares so much and he's like passionate about what he does. He created a new locker room for all of them and they thought it was so cool. He turned the lights off and it was LED lights.
Pictures of that. Really
so cool. Like I wanted to do that at Scott because I thought that was really interesting. He got like all these, like he did all the research about the history, like I don't have time for that. I don't want to do that. And he wanted to do it. And he created an alumni night. He got all of them together. Like, he created a camp for everyone. And then he, like, because he created a camp at NCH, but he created a camp for, like, his dad, which for me being, like, on the sideline, like, watching it, but also I participated in the camp. Even though my dad ran the camp, my dad in the camp were one of his players because they knew that their coach cared so much about this one thing that they wanted to, like, come back and, like, do it. So even though I knew what drills we're going to do, I was waiting for the skyline after. I wanted that picture. Like, I wanted it all. And I, like, I have so many shirts of it from the camp, but it's like, I got to experience it from a daughter perspective and also as a camper. So it's like, he just cared about every single little detail. And I think we should bring it back because it'll be so much fun. We need to bring it back.
Let's start working on it.
I need focal flip. I mean, I can't.
Let's start working on it, man. If
so
there's
down.
anything that I would line up with, it's something like that.
Because I think also, like,
Family stuff.
I went to so many camps as, like, when I was a kid. I went to so many camps. And then I got to experience what it was like to create your own camp. And then also, like, when I would have camps, my dad would drop me off. My mom would drop me off. But then he would stay. Or, you know, I'd be like, hey, can you go get me food? Like, I want some food. But he would go get it. Yeah. Like, but he would be there watching. And then now that these kids get to bring their own dad in, and some of them, they bring their grandpa in. Or even just, like, a person who is a father figure in their life, they get to bring it in. And then it all is a full circle.
So much.
Well, she liked it too because, like, when we would go talk, like, on Channel 9, go in the studio, she would get to go.
I loved it.
Popovich, you know, from Channel 9 or whatever the channel was. And we go to Frank Mazzullo, whatever.
Frank Mazzullo?
Yeah, we would go to him in the morning and, like, we're doing basketball drills and there, you know, you get like 2 minutes to talk about whatever you're going to do. They do that in the morning. And so, like, again, I just think that these things are passed on from my dad to me and to them and to them. You know, it's just a generational thing. Neat. But not only is it passed on between our family, you know, it goes on out into the community. But, like, I always tell her, and, like, she knows this, like, the two most important E words. You know, I like to do letters or what?
E words.
Yep. The two things I tell you before every game that you play.
Oh, effort and energy.
Effort and energy. Just two simple words. Just put forth as much effort as you can, and you got to have energy. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not going to come here and talk to you and just be real boring. Like, I'm going to be into it. Like, I'm going to be animated. I'm going to talk. I'm going to be who I am. Yeah. I mean, I don't need coffee to get jacked up. Like, well, I did have one this morning. But I'm just saying, like, you got to have energy. I'm telling her, you're out there on that volleyball court. It just takes one coach to look at you and go, I need that on my team. And what that is might be effort and energy. Mm-hmm. You might be one of the spokes in the wheel. Okay, she might have that. You got to have that personality. Along with playing, I get it. You got to have skill, but you got to have that little bit of extra.
Absolutely.
You got to play with that. I've always played. I've always been the underdog. So this tournament, I'm rooting for. Baby. It's right here.
I know.
And over time, you get it on this side too. Mm-hmm. And then your whole body is just taken over by having a chip. And man, I swear, like,
this drive, man.
Every day I go to school, even in gym class, like, I hold myself accountable for, like, that was a bad class. Or I got to do it different next time. Like, I can't have this many kids on the team because they don't get a chance. Like, I'm always trying to find out what makes my practices better, what makes my class better, what makes my drive home better. You know what I mean? Like, am I going to listen to this podcast? Am I going to call this coach? Like, that's when I really get into it. When I'm driving home, I get a 30-minute drive to call someone, to, like, talk. Like, I'm not going to listen to the radio. I don't need to listen to, like, I'm trying to.
I don't need to. I talk on the phone a lot while I'm driving down too.
I don't even want to see what my minutes were.
Another coach or somebody I'm trying to learn something from.
Yeah. So I just think effort and energy is the most important thing that I tell her all the time.
That's really cool.
Just give that effort, man. And, like, if it doesn't work out, you know, adversity is a teacher. I mean, adversity is a teacher. It teaches you how to handle bad things. Okay, but adversity is one thing I've always talked to our players about. I mean, it happens to you in life, and how you gonna handle it. You know, I have to pick up pieces of certain things in my life and move on. It's just how it is. Yeah. But it makes you a better person, but also it shows you the people around you. I was talking to her on the way here, like, man, I got to make some changes. You know, I got to do some things here in the next couple months, you know, with coaching. So, you know, it's just how it is. And I've learned so much through coaching that I've taught myself stuff. So that's the cool thing about life. Like you're able to learn and start over every day, man. It's like playing a video game. You hit that reset button every morning when you get up. You get 3 chances, just like you used to get 3 men when you played a video game. Sometimes you get an extra minute. You get that extra little coin though. And so you just get a reset button every day.
For sure. Are you ever hard on yourself? Because it seems like you just kind of power right through it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you ever get really tough on yourself? I mean,
I don't think so.
At the end of the day, when you're a leader and you're born with that.
Now, I think Milyn could probably answer that question better. I mean, she might be able to see, like, from the inside of me, I just think I'm built to where I just, like, I got to try to find the good in something.
Always find the similarity.
You know, like what happened with my dad, like that's a horrible thing. You know, I had to, like, with my mom, like, make sure she's fine, make sure that, and she gets lonely sometimes. And so I have to make sure that she's good with her health and her mental health. And then, like, you know, I got my kids and they were young when it happened. But I just think you got to, like, so I designed the camp. You know, I got to find something that's going to be inspiring.
To counter,
to
counteract the mood and emotion.
You can't let bad win. Okay, you can't let bad win. Okay, if you let bad win, then you're gonna go through life being miserable, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to find
I did it.
Yeah, but you found ways to beat bad.
Exactly. Too much of a dog. You will never have me fine to it.
I'll give you another good thing, and I always tell our players this. Okay, when things are bad, adversity is a big word. Okay, and when we put that on the board, I always put out, how are you guys going to handle it? We're going to argue and fight. Okay, we're going to come together. I always tell them this. You know the puzzle I'm talking about that takes up this whole table, and it's a picture of like 1,000 pieces of green grass, 1,000 pieces of blue sky, and all the pieces look the same. Okay, that's when you're going through adversity. When you start to figure out adversity and you start to put those pieces, now the pieces becomes that 15-piece jigsaw puzzle. You got the farm. You got the cow, the chicken, the horse. You know exactly where they go on that puzzle. So when you beat adversity, that puzzle becomes a 15-piece puzzle. When things aren't going your way, it's a 2,000-piece puzzle, and all the pieces look the same.
That's really
and so
good.
that's the analogy we've always used with our players, is like we have to find a solution to our adversity. But if you can beat bad, then you become better.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. I would love to end on that, but I got to get the most annoying. That was really good, Coach.
That was my bad. Like, you know.
Dude, that was awesome.
I don't know what my most annoying
Let's
thing
get right
is.
in on this.
I feel like there's more annoying than my favorite. So
I mean, you could give like maybe your top 3 in no order.
Give me 3. I got to hear it.
Just get 3. We got to go 3
because
because a three-pointer.
I need 3. Yeah, 3-pointer. I need 3 from you, so then I can troll him occasionally in text messages and stuff.
And that's okay. I'm good with that.
I know you are.
I'm good.
I know you would be.
I'm good.
there's so many I could think of. But, okay, one of them, which I now kind of...
This is a PG show now.
I've been
Okay,
PG.
okay.
It can be an SFW if we need it to
You
be.
weren't supposed to tell it.
When we'll be watching like some basketball game and he'll put surround sound on, which depends on the day what the game is, but my mom does not like it. She thinks like, and you know, my mom doesn't like it, which means that like everyone's mad because, you know, the wife's unhappy. So then like I kind of want to like egg it on and like keep it going. I'm like, I want to feel like I'm there. Like I want like, so then my dad will keep turning it up. So then when it starts turning it up, I start getting aggravated because like, okay, like I'm in the stadium right now. Like this is really annoying. So that'd be one thing, but I guess I kind of.
But you did make the comment the other night. We were at a friend's house and he had surround sound on. And what did you say?
I was like, I feel like I'm at the game. Because, you know, I do kind of like that. But then also sometimes, and then he's trying to talk to me. He's trying to talk to my mom. And I'm like, dude, I can't hear you. Like, I can't
Like,
understand.
hey, man, I'm at the game, but I also need to listen to you while you're talking to me.
Yeah.
I love it.
My second thing.
God, Coach, I think we may be fairly similar.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. Like, when she gets her second one, you understand, like, it's all, like I tell our players, all that noise that you hear, it's like a construction site. Like, you just got to have your blinders on, like the Kentucky Derby. And just keep moving forward. Like, when you go by and you hear the drills and the clank and they're building a new building, like, you hear the fans yelling at you, that's just construction noise. It's baby talk. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to have blinders and just stay on that marathon and just keep going. And, like, that's how I look at the surround sound. Like, we're watching the game. I'm trying to block all these guys out. All I want to do is listen to the announcers. I want to listen to what Al McGuire and Jimmy Dykes and all these guys got to say. Like, that's how you learn.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear it. I want to be there. I want to feel it. So go ahead with number
That
two.
leads on actually to my second one, because we'll be watching and he'll be like, where does that guy go to college? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Now, my wife's the best at it.
My mom's really good at it. Like, she'll be like, oh, he went here. He did this. He was here for 2 years. And I was like, what?
Or no, he didn't go to college.
Me and my friends play that game all the time.
That's always I always say that first.
I'm going to tell you, my wife is the best. Like, if I say Larry Bird, Indiana State, what's the mascot?
You asked me that the
Cyclones.
other day, and I got it. So
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the competitive stuff that we like to do.
Bring her on next.
Yeah. Oh, no.
God, she.
Dude, you guys.
No.
Gosh.
But we're alike probably more than any.
Both of you. I can't wait for the camera reaction of that.
We'll go ahead with number
I love
two.
family stuff,
You-
dude. It's
I
so
don't even
fun.
know.
Let her go with number. I mean, there's
I
not.
don't know
Yeah, what's the next
I
one?
don't know what my third would be. I feel like maybe
What's your second?
that you always ask questions that I wouldn't know. Like you
Give us
ask,
an example.
like there would be like someone random on the screen, and there could be three of them, and like they would be talking about it, and then you're like, "Did you hear that, Milyn?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like I got it." Where'd he go to college? You know, he played here. He had this many points, and I'm like, "No, I had no idea, but thanks for telling me." Or like, he'd be like, "I guarantee he's 45. Look it up. He's probably 45 years old.
Oh my gosh,
I guarantee
man.
it."
Yeah,
and then it's like, I have to look it up. But like I don't even know how to spell the guy's name. But he has to. I have to look it up.
It's called learning,
It's
right?
always I have to look it up.
We're always teaching and coaching.
Yeah.
We're always teaching and coaching. Always. What's your third
My
one? Because
third?
look, I feel like I'm doing pretty
Two of
good.
my kids are going to be able to relate with this hardcore.
My
'cause I do the
third
same
is
stuff.
probably.
I feel like I'm doing good as a dad, though. I mean, these are my.
Doing awesome.
I mean, these
this
are the
is the
things.
lighthearted fun stuff.
Yeah,
man.
this is the things that annoy her in life.
My third.
I'm good.
Third.
I think it would be the way you text, because you're very like a teenager. Like you text very like you'll use like acronyms like, and sometimes like I don't even know what they mean, but you're sending me acronyms. I
Like-
think you send, or like you'll be like K period.
No, I'll do K.
You do K.
No, that's if he's
Okay,
mad, probably.
Okay, question mark.
Or like if I always tell
Yeah.
them too, if you don't have a question mark, I'm not gonna answer you.
So I do a question mark for everything now. Like, hey, I need you to be ready today because we got to be here at 10. I had to pick her up at a friend's house on the way here, and I said, be ready by 9:30.
And I was ready.
And I put, okay, question mark, because I got to get the response back. Because I don't know.
I'm only gonna answer them if there's a question
Now,
mark.
she's
by it.
like me. Like, her room's organized.
I'm very OCD like
She's
him.
OCD.
Elena is too. I am too.
Now, you know this, too. Like, in North College Hill, I don't know if I told you, OCD, I did all the laundry. I kept all the uniforms in the cage, and I did their practice gear and their jerseys for all three teams. No uniform ever left. And so when we had away games, I would fold them up, put them in a laundry bag, and then when we got there and we played, we put them back in the laundry bag. And I washed the laundry bags, okay? And then for home games, I would always lay out their jersey, fold up the shorts, and put them right next to it on the benches.
I love it.
So treated like a college program, but I was also the manager as well. You know,
Much to wear all the hats.
Yeah,
man. I mean,
yeah.
That's pretty part of it.
well, I mean, but that's what makes you a well-rounded, down-to-earth coach. And they see you doing those things. And eventually it was funny because my players would always,
Get on
they
the
would always say,
ground level with
but they started saying thank you to me. But I had to like nudge them a little bit on the first day. Like, you're welcome, guys. Don't worry, I'll have this all ready for you
Yeah.
tomorrow. Like, anything else you
You
guys
do that
need?
to me, though,
Yeah, I'll
too,
do it to
so-
everybody. Like, but that's sarcasm. And so when they started to understand the sarcasm, they started to understand things. And that's the cool thing about coaching. Like, those guys, one of my players, shout out Rico Rubin Jr., like, he would stand up every one of my birthdays, either on a desk or in the locker room, and just sing my birthday. And he would just do his hands like this. And just like little things like that makes you excited. And so that's just exciting for me as a coach.
Yep. Well, we're getting ready to wrap this sucker up. This thing's dying on us.
We got one camera going
I
still.
know. Let's get ready to wrap this sucker up because I'll have you guys come back in.
You get us our quote of the day, or are we doing that on another one?
We're going to do that on another one. This one's going to have a lot of nice little clips from it. That's for sure.
good.
Yeah. Well, I think we need to get over 1,400 views. So people out there, let's get that 1,400.
Let's get that.
Let's get that
1,400
up.
views. What's next for you guys before we hop off here?
Oh,
Into this camera.
what's next? What, my day?
Yeah, no, what's next for your summer, the rest of your school year? What's next for
gosh.
you individually?
Go first.
Well, for me, just continue teaching and coaching. I mean, always looking to improve that. Not coaching currently right now. Want to coach in high school. Want to be a head coach and continue doing that. And so I'm always, today was an audition for that. To see what kind of a person I am. You're always auditioning for your next whatever. It is. It might not be a job. It might just be, interacting with somebody at the store or at a restaurant. At the volleyball games. And so you're always selling yourself and letting people see what kind of a person you are and making those connections, because there's nothing better than making connections with people to be able to have those good relationships.
I love it, man.
So that's what's next for me. But to also go to their games, like I said, Marshall plays soccer at NKU, so he has a spring schedule right now. Mitchell's going to be a senior on the basketball team again, not playing but being a walk-on. He's been able to understand a lot. Now Mitchell real quick ran a marathon. Never ran one before. Ran Columbus about 6 months ago, and he 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Ooh, he ran a Columbus marathon. That's a big one too.
So for his goal right now his goal in 2025 is to run 2,025 miles in the whole year.
You need to have him in here. Mitchell would be really good in here.
Mitchell would be good. We're just
gonna bring all the Minors.
Well, we should bring Marshall too, because actually Marshall is the quiet one, but usually the one that's the quiet one is the observer of the group.
Dude, when we do it, we'll use the set that's down in the back of the barn.
Yeah, I mean, we should. I mean,
Sunset's over that. We can all kick it down there because we have a second set. So that's going to be for this year.
Thing about running like that, I mean, just think of the discipline and stuff it takes to run 2,025. That's 5.5 miles.
I have all kinds of questions around that.
5,000.
He's crazy.
I'm fascinated.
He loves it.
It's 5.5 miles a day. Now, if he misses a day, now he's got to go 11 miles the next day. So, but again, that work ethic comes from passed down from Candy, my wife's parents, my parents, like their parents.
Yeah,
so like this has all been passed down, and so that's the thing that like going to watch him and then going to watch her. That's the plan. The next few months or whatever for me. For her, it's going to be volleyball and
in school.
In school.
That's awesome. I'm getting ready to bring Coach Sullivan in, so I'm learning a lot about volleyball, learning a whole lot more.
That'll be exciting.
Coach, you're a great dude.
I appreciate it.
You're an excellent coach. I'm excited to see what's to come because you're always going to teach and coach. I think you're always going to be a leader, definitely a head coach. No knocks on anybody and assistant coaches. I just think you're very, very polished and so established, and you do such a great job with culture that I'm excited to see where you end up coaching or what you end up doing, because you're going to be successful at it. A lot of us love you to death. We followed you. I wouldn't have that shirt,
man,
if I didn't.
The shirt's awesome.
Of you.
The shirt's awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait to show all the guys. Like,
that's all you, man.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So thank you guys for coming out. I'm going to officially invite you back out.
Okay.
We're going to dive into things a lot more. There's so much with you all. It's going to be too much. I mean,
there's layers.
We could literally exactly. There's just so much we can learn, and we can actually develop it to where there's even more targeted, and really expand on those things. So, So thank you guys.
It's been good.
Thank you.
High five, all right?
I enjoy it. This is great.
Right.
We've been flipped.
Yep. Love you guys. We're out.
So guys, you should like and subscribe and hit that
Okay,
I can't get it.
okay.
I'm not used to this.
Hey guys, subscribe to my dad's video and just like the bell.
Hit that like and subscribe button, hit that bell,
And stay tuned. Love y'all.
100%. Love y'all. We're out.
I love that.